What's up, everyone? How you doing? This is really weird, actually, not having anyone to talk to. I know you're all there, but yeah, it's just like, wow. Teddy, I just see you come in the room. Right, so I got Solaheen, who did our who did the tribute last week to Ty, which was completely amazing. So Solaheen is going to join us just to kind of like pass the torch. So I'm going to. I'm not sure how you're going to join. Eric, how you doing, man? Wow, so good to see all you guys. There's loads of people on. My goodness. Hey, Diane. Jazz refreshed. Love you guys. Louise. Solaheen, there you go. There you are. You gonna join me, mate? How do we do that? Do I have to add you, or how do I do this thing? I feel like such a granddad when it comes to, there we go. Oh, okay. Omar, how you doing, bro? Time metronome. Tyrese, how you doing, bro? I think I've got this. Right, okay. Sorry, excuse me for a second. I've got Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Go.
Yes.
Yes, sir. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. Don't worry. I'm the granddad too. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I
was trying to work this thing out. I'm like, okay, never done Instagram Live, IG Live, as these guys are calling it.
Yep.
But hey, here we are, you know.
Indeed. Good to see you, man.
Still rocking. Good to see you, man. Listen, I must thank you so much for doing that thing last week.
It was a pleasure. It was impromptu. I didn't really know. I just knew I wanted to do something, and that was the best thing that I could do. And I genuinely expected, because I'm not really, everyone tells me, you should post more, and you need to do this hashtag, this, that, and blah, 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 and you should prep people. I just thought, I'm just going to play this music because I want to hear the music, and if 5 people join, 5 people join, and people weren't having it as just 5 people, so here we are, and it's great to have you there.
To say that, and I feel like, and I've always known this, like you and I are so alike, you know, like I think we've kind of got very similar personality, so kind of like don't really like that kind of, you know, kind of limelight kind of thing, but you know what, if I have to do it, I'll do it. But you know, this for me is not about having to do it. I really wanted to do this for Ty, and I think, you know, like you know, we were all in that kind of really, it was all so fresh last week, you know, and you know, and my heart goes out to everyone that's on here at the moment, and you know, like we're all there at this, you know, like feeling the same, and it's you know, it's still quite raw, but I think like when I joined your live IG last week, I was just like, and you said, Drew, man, like, it was just like, and I turned to my wife and I just said, like, Solaheen, like, you know, like Solaheen. So to give you guys a bit of background, right? Because there's a lot of people on here, right? And there's a lot of heads that know who you are. But Solaheen worked with Ty in the 90s, like did a lot of stuff. Like Solaheen is an amazing producer. He's done loads of things. He was in a rap crew. So if you know, obviously you've seen the poster that we made for this. Like Solaheen was in a rap group called Lords of Rap, And I used to see this man all the time in Borderline and just, you know, and, you know, we even sort of what kind of, you know, what, like when you were teaching up at the college and, you know, I kind of filled in for you a couple of times. So we kind of got to interact a little bit, which was really nice. And obviously, you know, on the back of like the stuff you did with Awkward as well. So, you know, we've always been there, and you know, like RMS, you worked out of this studio in Thornton Heath that a lot of us South London heads used to go to. It was a bit of a hub back then, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess like RMS, that's kind of like where it all started for you, and I'm pretty sure that you probably did some of like Ty's first demos there, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, so yeah, really briefly, everything that you said, super accurate. And the Chris Move, who suggested that I call in to this, I mean, I was always going to be watching, asked me this morning, have I got Hold Your Corner? Do you have Hold Your Corner? And that was one of Ty's early tracks. And there was various versions of it, but the version that I got, like he had his MPC, no, actually it's his SP12. He struggled with, which we nicknamed the skateboard, and I'll explain that another time. But basically, Hold Your Corner was like probably the first entry point in RMS with myself and Ty. In fact, I worked with Ty before we even had studio access. But yeah, a lot of the early stuff, right up until Awkward, and that was our kind of overlap.
Yeah. That's nice, because you know, obviously Chris, was saying the same about that first beat. You know, did Ty actually like sort of work the original idea then, or?
Definitely. Yeah, he was very, very clear about what he wanted for that, and but he didn't know how to do it, and and he worked his way through it, and it stayed on the SP12, which I didn't touch at all. So there's definitely a DAT in my, you know, vaults of DATs of a Hold Your Corner, and I'm getting them transferred slowly. So if I find that, I'll let people hear.
Let's dig those old tracks out, because I've just been in the studio for like, you know, a few hours, just kind of going through some old, you know, and it's a bit, you know, like there's obviously a sadness behind it, because, you know, he's you know, he's not here, and we just had like, I've got folders of like, you know, just beats, a few with like vocals and bits, which I'll share in a bit, but it's just, you know, like there's just so much there, and obviously, like with you playing all that stuff last week, like you know, like some of that, you know, obviously some of the unreleased stuff I haven't heard, but you know, I have, there's some of the single, the kind of singles that you played, I'd never, you know, I'd heard them back then, but I haven't heard them since they came out, you know, and you know, it was
me
really,
too.
You know, and you know, even same with some of the stuff that we've done, like I was kind of putting together a little something for this, and going through, you know, like the catalogue, and it's just like, gosh, I haven't heard that track in, you know, God knows, you know.
You know what, like he was such a driving force, and if you're the person in the studio who has the equipment knowledge, you know, you're literally flying this starship. He's Picard. He's telling you what to do, whether you agree with it or not, and often you do. But often you know you it's like the Steve Jobs quote where your rocks in a rock tumbler. You know, that's how they get smooth. You kind of bouncing off of each other, and he was so good at that. And because of that, there's just so much stuff. And I know what you're going through, because, but you're going through it in a different way, because you're in the studio that you did the stuff, and I'm not. So I can't wait to hear. And I'm going to stop talking now, because I can't wait to hear what you got to play us. And I'm so glad that you agreed to do this. And, you know, I mean, afterwards, this is all you. This is on you. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Pass this torch to the next person. At some point, I'm going to grab this torch back, like, because
exactly. You do a part 2, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I only got halfway through, so I want to share other things, but I can't wait to hear what you're going to share and see who else wants to do something.
I've just got like, I've done a little bit of prep, right, and I'm kind of like, I've got a playlist of like some of, you know, this kind of highlights and stuff, and it's like 2.5 hours, and I'm like, that's just, and that's not everything. That's just like, bits and pieces. And I've got my screens in front of me, and I've got stuff open, and so I'm just gonna dive into some stuff, and I just tell a little bit of my kind of story with Ty, how I met him and all of that. So yeah,
just do it, man. We want to hear it. We're here for you. We're all here for each other. But the thing that you've probably already noticed, and can you see the chat? It's just going crazy, right? I feel for you right now because everyone's going to shout at you to save this at the end because they shouted at me. I saved it, everyone. Don't worry, in an unconventional way, but I saved it. But I now get to be involved in the chat, and you don't. It's really weird just talking to your phone and playing stuff and getting nothing back.
Yeah, it really
but
is.
It's really great to watch. So we can't wait for you to do this.
Thank you,
cool,
bro.
man.
Thanks for jumping on this, and
no problem.
I'll see you on the next one.
Cool. I'm going to tap on the little X near my face. Sorry, everyone, but we're granddads here. We don't really know how this is. I'm hoping I'm going to stay in this. Don't worry. I'm going to tap it. I'm going to do it. All right, over to you, Drew.
And I'll make sure I'm going to save this, right?
Yeah.
How long do we get, by the way? Is it about an hour or something, or I don't know?
I think it's every hour you have to restart. So when everyone will shout at you, don't worry. But when you restart it, you have to save it. I didn't see the thing, so that didn't work for me. But we can talk offline. Don't worry, it'll be there. Cool, man. Let's hear it.
Nice. Here we are. I'm on my own, all on my own. Hey. So where do I start? Oh my goodness. So let me catch a moment because this is like, this is like I thought I had mixed feelings about doing this, and I really wanted to do it, but I knew it wouldn't be like easy, but I thought, let me just share some stories, just a bit of the journey behind, how me and Ty started working. So in 1992, right, I've got this, I used to record stuff off the radio, and I was, it was like Max and Dave and Steve Wren and all these people, like, doing rap shows, and I was listening, and I used to just pause and record all the like tracks that I wanted. I used to record a lot of UK hip hop, and I found, I was gonna dig this out, right? And I found this tape, and I always knew about Ty from back then because he was on this competition. I can't remember what the competition was called now. It was in Brixton, and of course. It was 1992, and I was like, okay, this is cool. So there were three runners up: third place, second place, and first place. And I only recorded Ty because I just thought this guy he's awesome. Like I really rated him, and I know he was known as MC Ty back then. So I found the tape, and I am going to play it. I actually came in here a bit earlier and cleaned it up, took a bit of the hiss out. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive straight into this and just share a little old school Ty, which I know you guys are gonna appreciate. Right, hang on a sec. Just tell me if it's too loud or if it needs to come up, and I will, shortly. Nice one, bro.
Yeah. Enough respect. Before we start, I just like to say a little something, alright? It's a short verse, and I want you just to understand where I'm coming from. Alright? Check it out. I can't stand the jibber jabber and jiggle chit chatter and nigger who doesn't understand what I shout. No sellout. Rap music is ours and ours only. I don't try and delude it just because you feel lonely. Pop music is not music, it's only an attempt to appeal to the masses and also pay rent back. In the days when the drum was the rage, the drum was beaten for a reason, not beaten to get paid. So I try to adopt that and also make sure that there's a mature black boy. I know some more fact. Peace. Pogo, come on, lift this up, let's talk it up. Come on. Wave your hands. come on, again, come on, again, come on, again, come on. I'm gonna whip it, come on. All right, all right. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Listen, check the speaker. Maybe I'm a sipper. You try to whip up. Taxes if you was back from the future. Give up. You want third, but how will you watch you? Let me see that to the forefront. That's where I lost you. Captivated, don't let me go further. You were captivated by no past murder. Your mind will be shoot, didn't get me. So all that you to be jealous and come quickly. Let's do even nothing. Cause there ain't nothing that appeals to me much more than touching. The man who hates me, no father through the pavement. The battle's gonna be long and hard to stay. Shift energy and stamina. You learn about stamina. Words of time, kids are gonna fall off the banister. And now it's a perimeter. Because there's a limiter. What you can do, and if you don't, I get sinister. Right? And you don't stop. Wave your hands in the air. Come on, come on. Go, 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 shall go, 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 come on, go, 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 go. I heard just now. Go, go. All right, check it out, listen. Rap is not a game, but if it was, I play it solitaire. Understand on my very own, so that I'm solid wherever I'm heard and compared to the pavement. Leave you dizzy and dazed as you gaze in amazement. Looking at the boy, you're about to face your minds is already in your bodies in outer space. The music is laid back, but I never laid back. I was in the background, now I'm looking for payback. So give me that beat, you can't write it. Talking about how dope you are, you better hide it or run. Vanish, remove, skip it, passing on my nails. Bad, let alone wicked. You see, I'll be watching you, watching me, watching you. So show me what you're gonna do. I'm like the Nancy, I can't be crushed. But if you rap like MC Hammer, then I can't be touched. Too many boys act like men before time. When the truth has come, many of them is fine. So I say of a boy, a youth, a youngster, one of the younger, generation full of hunger. Peace, and I'm out. Peace.
Yeah. I see some of the comments. Yeah, rapping in a bit of a Yankee accent back then. But hey, I guess most people, well, not everyone, but you know, I guess he was finding his voice, right? But yeah, it's so good to check the technique. That's right. Yeah. Man, it's so good to see some of you guys on there. Umpo, good to see you. Yeah, that was I mean, that was how it was back then. But someone said the volume's too low. I know. Look, that came off a tape, so it was a bit muddy. But hopefully, some of the other bits are going to be a bit clearer. All right. So I'll bump the volume a little bit. I am doing this off of my phone. I probably should have done it off of my laptop, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. So kind of throughout the 90s, obviously Ty was doing his thing and he was like collaborating, working with Solohin. I know he knew Chris quite well. Chris Smooth, my boy. We go back a long way, so big up to you, man. I always would see Ty like at these jams, like Apricot Jam and Lyrical Lounge and Borderline, and we'd always just shake hands, but like we never got to really speak. Kind of fast forward to like 1999, I was working with a French hip hop crew called Sankofa, and there was a guy called Leon who was, I hope he's on now, because he was actually the key to kind of me working with Ty. And they had this track that they played to Ty, and Ty really liked it and wanted to jump on it, and he asked them if he could feature the song on Awkward, which he was doing at the time. So that was 1999, and so I got to work with Ty. So I met them all down at the studio, took my MPC and my sound module and everything else along with me to the session, and it was just so nice to kind of bump into Ty and finally like, there we go. He knew my face, I knew his, obviously, and it just kind of took off from there. So we we did this song, and it is called Zybo. So I'm going to give you a little snippet of this because I don't want to play like loads of songs, and you know it's going to be like 3 hours. I think people will start dropping off, so I might have to do this in 2 stages. But yeah, I'm going to play this track. It's called Zybo.
Inky, black, like me. Indigo, black, like a midnight star, studded sky, blue, black, like me. Beautiful, mahogany tree, black, like a fertile, life-giving soil, black.
Yeah, so how was that sounding? Was that loud enough, guys? Is that good? Just give me a thumbs up if it's loud enough. Cool. Right, so after that session, like Ty was like, Drew, you know, good work, bro. Have you got any more beats? So I'm like, yeah, I've got, yeah, I think I've got something. And it was a beat that I'd just done for the French guys, Leon and Sankofa. And so played it to Ty, and he was like, yeah, I've got something for this. And I don't know if he actually had an original demo of this already. Some of the guys they might know, Solihin might know. But yeah, I played him this beat, and he was like, yeah, I've definitely got something for this. So we checked it over with Leon, and yeah, it was he was like, yeah, it's fine, give it to Ty, no problem. So that song is basically this.
This is a cautionary tale. You can take it any which way you want. I mean, no disrespect. Part 2. As we just... It was this sunny afternoon, somewhere between April, May, or maybe June. The year had been quite busy, and I was just taking a break from having to make a tune. I was chilling with my cousin, rude boys undercover, just watching the place. Sitting opposite the tube, and this girl jumped up and said, I recognize your face. Your name's Ty, isn't it? I seen you in this and that magazine. I was quite chuffed, really. Looked slyly at my cousin, and we both said, see. 1 month later, she phones me up. I'm in the area. Can I come up? I'm like, please. Turned to my brother and said, I love you like a brother, but rap, you got to leave. You got to leave. If you met this girl, man, you understand. You got to go. Check my reflection in the mirror. Spray a little air, splash a little brute. Answered the intercom is tied there. Oh, she sounds cute. I take her jacket and she's left with a white dress going from here to here. I offer her a drink, but she only wants water. I'm like, oh yeah. The conversation goes from vague idle chat to thinly veiled. Come on, blood leaves my brain, my whole body's a drumstick. Anxious, drum on. How should I approach this?
All right, I can't do wheel ups because it's like I'm just playing it digitally. But all right, I'm gonna play it again, right? So here goes from the top again. All right, as requested. It's like
this is a cautionary tale. You can take it any which way you want. I mean, no disrespect. Art too. As we just. Let me leave you for. It was a sunny afternoon, somewhere between April, May, or maybe June. The year had been quite busy, and I was just taking a break from having to make a tune. I was chilling with my cousin, rude boys undercover, just watching the place. Sitting opposite the tube, and this girl jumped up and said, I recognize your face. Your name's Ty, isn't it? I seen you in this and that magazine. I was quite chuffed, really. Looked slyly at my cousin, and we both said, see. 1 month later, she phones me up. I'm in the area. Can I come up? I'm like, please. Turned to my brother and said, I love you like a brother, but rap, you got to leave. Listen, you got to leave. If you met this girl, man, you understand. You got to go. Check my reflection in the mirror. Spray a little air, splash a little brute. Answered the intercom is tied there. Oh, she sounds cute. I take her jacket and she's left with a white dress going from here to here. I offer her a drink, but she only wants water. I'm like, oh yeah. The conversation goes from vague idle chat to thinly veiled. Come on, blood leaves my brain, my whole body's a drumstick. Anxious, drum on. How should I approach this? I'm virtually brain dead, plus the line's busy. I begin with a little friendly WWF and touched it and touched it and touched it.
Hold on, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you trying to touch any of this? Who are you?
I felt so ashamed, had to excuse myself by pretending to take a... Walked to the mirror, splashed water on my face and said, man, what is this? Get the grip then, just because the girl's phone doesn't mean you end. This sexy bullshit can mess up the play and make you think your love is king. In one of those ridiculous words like, let's say, I left the bathroom with a clear head, expecting her to sound apologetic in the worst way. She's butt naked on the sofa, smiling like a joke at TY. It's your birthday. No. Don't listen. You don't have to ask me what I'll be next. Anyway. Let's just say, mighty fun was had by all. Of course, it's fictional, so,
Yeah, so obviously a favourite with a lot of people. I mean, like it's definitely one of my favourites. You know, we had fun doing it. I was in a flat in Streatham, and I remember him coming down, and we just working on it. And you know, there's a hashtag that came out of last week. I think we need to look at that snare. So you know, people who worked with him kind of knew that he was just like, you know, if it sounds right, it's right, you know. And if, you know, like working with Ty is like, you know, he won't do any lyrics on it really unless the beat sounds right, unless sonically it's sounding good, you know. So yeah, so we kind of really worked on the music, and then it was time to lay down the vocals. Oh yeah, oh the snare, exactly, and the kicks and all of that, you know. But yeah, no, it was good. It was such a good time around the sort of early 2000s. You know, after the tail, I think that was kind of like a bit of kind of like, right, okay, I've found someone that I can work with, you know. And you know, Ty invited me on to the tour at the time, so we went to all different places. Amsterdam was one I remember quite well. Business was on there. Is Business on the chat? I really hope he is. But if you are, bro, big up. Wiley Cat on drums, amazing drummer. Eric Apapule on guitar. Quadro, my business partner, was on bass. And Sawasi was backup singer, BBs. And yeah, man, it was just really, really good. But also for me, like as a producer, it was a step up. You know, I'd kind of been like a bedroom producer. I was part of a group called Psychic Phenomena, and we were kind of like putting our own stuff out. And not to mention those guys. So me and Chris Smooth, we had those guys, and we were producers and putting stuff out here and there. But you know, I guess kind of working with Ty just took it. It was just another step forward in my career, you know. And so, you know, I really got to thank Ben and Ty. You know, Ty was just like, you know, he was like, you know, I remember after we kind of did the tail and we were kind of like starting to work together, he sort of said to me, Drew, I'm going to give you some cash, you know. Can't even remember how much it was, but he was like, Drew, I'm going to transfer you some cash, bro, because, you know, you did well. And, you know, I think that was him just kind of showing some love, showing some respect for me as a producer. And I was like, oh, right, okay. Yeah, right. You know, I can take this from actually, I just love what I do to try and, you know, make it something that actually pays me something, you know. So yeah, so not long after, or well, I think Awkward came out in 2001. I set the studio up, which is this place right here, still here. And so that was like 19 years ago, and I'm still here, and I've kind of made changes along the way. But yeah, you know, Ty was very much a part of that journey from the start. So, you know, we worked on a few tracks together before we did Upwards, and one of which is another one of like my kind of favorites at the time, you know. And so yeah, I'm going to share it with you guys now. It actually never came out on an album. It did come out on an album, not a Thai album. It was on a compilation album called Extra Yard on Big Dada, and it's We Don't Care. We don't care. We don't care if you don't. We don't care if you won't. We don't intend you to be broke, so keep your eyes on me. We don't care if you don't. We don't care if you won't. We don't intend you to be broke, so keep your eyes on me. We don't care. It's the return of the one-man army. Friends say I'm awkward, enemies say I'm bombing. The only way
doesn't drive me. It's to stroke my ego humbly. About to make my own movie just to get those superstar me. One-dimensional technicians really for me. The best advice I can give you is brethren go before me. No superpowers need more sheep to eat for me. I'm right here, live in the flesh, so reach for me. I'm in the streets, beat streets, so sweet for me. The best advice I can give you is brethren go before me. I used to rip a crowd for at least free entry. Bouncers used to screw when I said I weren't climbing. Get no shot climbing while bills escalate. People analyze the clothing just to see how much I make. Coast to coast, we are the energetic genre. We throw punches into winners of the drama. If you don't, we don't care. If you won't, we don't intend to be wrong. So keep your eyes on me. We don't care. If you don't, we don't care. If you won't, we don't intend to be. Keep your eyes on me. We don't care. Rappers, please step to the left. Everybody on the street, hold your breath. Real wise, when you fear, take the test. Big sleeper up, won't clear your chest. Then the key, why doing what I do best. Get live, I hope your oxygen's fresh. Crash test dummies left in a mess. Yes, oh yes, I came to do it, God bless. Yo, I aim to do it my way. Rap packing up, not cracking, let's imitate this. Expose the world in a particular way by blowing up, but not slipping away high. So work out how I do it with your fisherman next. Trying to latch onto the fluid, you're hopeless. Like Dion Warwick, trying to cancel out rap, babe, you prehistoric. Not to disrespect the elderly, but time to understand this means a lot to me. And then, so when you claim to represent the church, with no research of what the rest of rap is actually, you may actually care. If you don't, we don't care. If you won't, we don't intend to be wrong. So keep your eyes on me. We don't care if you don't.
Yeah, so sorry I got to cut it, guys, because you know there's so much to get through, and like I said, we might have to do a part 2 at some point anyway. But yeah, like we don't care. That, you know, I loved doing that track, and you know, it was just kind of like a, you know, we kind of getting ready for Upwards. We didn't really, you know, there was no concept for Upwards. It was just like, okay, you know, Big Dada wants an album, Drew. So are you in? And naturally, I was like, absolutely, like let's do it. But I think this was like Ty's kind of, you know, it was his like kind of step to do something a lot bigger musically. You know, like I think he, you know, he had ideas to kind of bring in horns and strings and different musicians, and you know, it would kind of start with like what we would call headphone days. So we'd have both our MPCs. I had a 2000, still got it. Ty would be on his 3000, which, by the way, is right there. That's one of them. He's got one, or he had one in his house. And it makes me a bit sad, actually, talking about that. But, you know, he always kept one here. And, yeah, that's obviously one of his NPCs. But, yeah, so, you know, we would have these headphone days, and he would, you know, we would basically, you know, Ty practically moved into the studio. He'd bring, like, tons of records and buy up loads of synths and keyboards and be like, yeah, Drew, yeah, we've got to use this, like, you know, let's try this, or, you know, and he'd, you know, or he'd walk in with like a bunch of cowbells and percussion instruments. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. They all had different pitches, but, you know, we found uses for them. And, you know, the headphone days were really good because we would just sample, make beats, you know, on the headphones. He'd you know, put something into his MPC, I put stuff into mine, and then we would just kind of, all right, what have you got? Yeah, I've got something. Let me play you something. And you know, like one of the beats that that was, you know, kind of like on a you know, on the MPC that I was working on was this. It was a sample that came off of one of Ty's, like, you know, dusty old records, and yeah, this is it.
rap, pig in the middle rap. Take me away from the melee, feeling like my left toe equal to Pele. Wait, can I put my socks on? Mommy must have got my building blocks wrong. Forget job interview, I get the job done. Money just comes when I go and talk done. You stay rushing with me and I'm really feeling like my ego's about to grow again. No, my friend, that's not how I'm living though. Still up to the laundrette, still shop at Tesco, still box street with my hat though. Rap so corporate, people think I'm comedian, reeling, even though it's not so. Got so many people open up and close shop and say I'm only open if you got dough. Bring me, pasa, lati, go, amigo, we close.
Yeah, I've got to pull it up. Got to pull it up. All right, here we go.
Boy. Oh, my goodness. No. I guess you were that higgledy piggle rap, pig in the middle rap. Take me away from the melee, feeling like my left toe equal to Pele. Wait, can I put my socks on? Mommy must have got my building blocks wrong. Forget job interview, I get the job done. Money just comes when I go and talk done. You stay rushing with me and I'm really feeling like my ego's about to grow again. No, my friend, that's not how I'm living though. Still up to the laundrette, still shop at Tesco, still box street with my hat though. Rap so corporate, people think I'm comedian, reeling, even though it's not so. Got so many people open at the close shop and say I'm only open if you got dough. Bring me, pasa, lati, go, amigo, we close strictly bro. People wanna fly like I'm Kelly, better get your breath ready, cause I'm paralyzed ego. Oh, when I'm done, I'm singing. Well, I was born to rock, not born to do it. Not dissing Craig David, I'm just saying I'm fluid. Some of the best responses on the MIC. One of the first to say I'm from the NIG. I like my concept overdone. Overlove, I eat it down like you can buy from my belly, show my brother. Inspector with no whosoever this flung like a smelly fish. Never missed the opportunity to Luna. Feeling this, well, you should have come sooner. Full of back will leave you deep in the Luna. Baby blooming that King Cole, Luna, and they don't stop. Luna King can't crown me. Better walk very fast round me. Knock it down like Muhammad Ali. Turn love around like that Mustafa Ali. And when I'm done, I'm singing.
Yes. Yeah, you know, again, another one of my favorites, just because it was like one of those tracks that was just like, it was in the moment. Like Ty heard it and he was like, all right, you know, without even kind of, let's work on that snare. It was like, okay, he sat in the back and he was just like, just penning it out, you know. So it was just, you know, it was all in the moment, and very basic song, just like literally like a kind of Brazilian old rock track that we got done on the sample for that. But hey, it's kind of worth it. But yeah, you know, and that kind of like, I think it's like it's the first track on Upwards. So it really did set the tone. You know, yeah, of course, you know, like everyone that I speak to, they always kind of, people who were like either at college or people who were, you know, I guess, you know, Solheim said the magical times. Exactly, that's exactly what it was. And you know, it was Upwards was the theme for a lot of people around that time, you know. And you know, obviously a huge, you know, honor and you know, respect for, you know, just to get a Mercury nomination. We had no idea that you know, it was that what we were doing was going to kind of hit that hard. And but yeah, you know, there's some gems on Upwards that some people don't even like get to really hear these days, because, you know, obviously, you know, being digital and Spotify and all of that, you know, so there's a couple of bonus tracks that never really came out digitally, maybe on the CD, but one of my favorite tracks, and this will make some of you guys laugh, because, you know, like you know, you guys knew Ty, like the people that knew Ty really well, and yeah, big up, man. Thank you. Yeah, people that knew Ty really well just knew he was like, you know, he was like the life and soul of a party. He was, you know, he was super funny, you know. Of course, he had his serious side to him, but he was, you know, he was a funny guy, man. He was really, you know, he's really nice to be around. You know, and he'd have these ideas, like, and put them on the tracks as well, you know. So I'm going to play you a track, right? And I've got it on the vinyl. I've got the vinyl kind of lined up here. Ah, there we go. Right, you ready? You ready for this? Crap scratching, but hey, kind of lost my touch.
This one goes out to my special pumpkin. Funky. Alright. She told me she loved me. Yes, she did. Talked about marriage. We talked about kids. House and mortgage. Dog and cat. Forget the last two. I don't know about that. Save some money. Buy some land. Start the business, make some plans, have some fun, eh? Lie in the sun, eh? I woke up one morning, I started to run, eh? I know we're darling, darling, raise your heart, don't run down the break. I'm happy to live.
All right. Now I can do a proper wheel up because I have vinyl, right? Okay, so let's line this up again.
This one goes out to my special pumpkin. Funky. Alright. She told me she loved me. Yes, she did. Talked about marriage. We talked about kids. House and mortgage. Dog and cat. Forget the last two. I don't know about that. Save some money. Buy some land. Start the business. Make some plans. Have some fun, eh? Lie in the sun, eh? I woke up one morning. I started to run, eh? I know we're darling, darling, raise your heart, don't run down the break. I'm happy to live. I'm sorry, pumpkin. I'm sorry, darling, mate. I'm sorry, baby, mate. I'm sorry, darling. I met this girl, sexy lady. She had intentions to drive me crazy. I knew the time. I checked my watch. We bought some pizza. I bought some scotch. She talked the talk, but I kept quiet. She thought I was shy. Now that's the science. We parked the car, ran to the house cause it was raining. She opened the door, all I saw was leather whips and chains. What is this? What are you buying? What are you planning? Why you look hard? No, you cannot. No, you cannot make love. You putting your finger in my mouth, my darling. No, no. Raise your love. Break love. That for me. Handcuff me. Make love. Listen, my darling, mate. I'm not properly, but I tries. Raise your oh, that's your husband, Ray. Just taking the piss. Leave me alone. Hey, why? Hey, I don't want to ask you. Raise the head. You just look back.
Yeah, so oh Villa, yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. I mean, look, I'm super overwhelmed by like 183 people on this, and you know, like, gosh, like Ty would have been so happy, just, you know, that you guys are just, you know, that we're just celebrating his life, you know, and that's what we get to do on this, right? And so yeah, so that was Expectations, which is like, if you've got the vinyl, great, you can play it. If you can find, I'm sure you'll probably find it on YouTube maybe. Yeah, there was another track actually, Taking It Back. That's a good track. In fact, I think I might just, let me just have a look for that real quickly, if it's on here. And I completely forgot that Upwards is actually a triple vinyl. So if you don't have it and you're, you know, back into collecting vinyl, then just get it, because, you know, it's you know, it's a classic. If I do say so myself. No, but I'm really proud of it. You know, like this is like a really you know, it was a really kind of special record to be involved in. You know, some amazing musicians that you know, sort of came through. You know, yeah, Taking It Back. Here we go.
Taking it back to transforming on a hot cross fade. Two trainers and a high top fade. Taking it back to cod liver oil every weekend and yellow rappers on a new crusade. Taking it back to Johnny B rubbing you the right way and Johnny Camp singing I just got paid. Taking it back to Dark Vader, the Green Cross Code, the Boy Scouts and the Girls Brigade. Taking it back to Funk Rap, Johnny Guitar Watson and a program like an 8-half pop mum. Taking it back to Godzilla after Checkers Play Pop. Wasn't trying to miss an episode, not one. Taking it back to Action Man, Barbie Doll, McKenna, Legend, Monopoly, and Connect 4. Taking it back to my comics, X-Men, Spider-Man, Rob 4, and the Fantastic Four. Taking it back.
Way back to the good old days when we didn't have none in the world.
Taking it back.
When we used to run around cat-free, music just the same baby girl.
Taking it back.
Bobby Grace, and Murphy, music, ecology, and what's going on.
Taking it back.
When music used to mean a thing, the vibe of the club was fun.
Taking it back to play fighting on the streets with friends that I miss and are no longer here. Taking it back to being broke, eating corned beef and noodles, not trying to do that this year. Taking it back to BMX skateboards and push bikes, ramp funny hops and wheelies. Taking it back to break dancing on my living room floor, I can still do the backspin watch. Taking it back to when we used to bust moves in the club and the war was only used for a crowd. Taking it back to when parents used to live together before they split and maybe choose their love. Taking it back to Benny Hill, Grange Hill, the Bill, Dynasty, Dallison, Love Thy Neighbor. Taking it back to happy days with Richie Cunningham, but Fonzarelli had the news you savor. Taking it back.
Way back to the good old days when we didn't have none in the world.
Taking it back.
When we used to run around cat-free, music just the same baby girl.
Taking it back.
Bobby Grace, and Murphy, music, ecology, and what's going on.
Taking it back.
When music used to mean a thing, the vibe of the club was fun.
Taking it back.
Way back to the good old days when we didn't have none in the world.
Taking it back.
When we used to run around cat-free, music just the same baby girl.
Taking it back.
Bobby Grace,
Yeah, so another one of those tracks that just, you know, is not on the digital copy. I don't even think you can find it on Spotify or anything like that. But you're welcome, man. Yeah, I think we got about 3 minutes, and I'm gonna restart this, and I'm also gonna save this because I know people would probably want to see this again. But yeah, so that was Taking It Back. That was Leroy Brown on Leroy was on cuts on that one, and Hill Street Soul was doing the vocals on that one. So I don't know if Hills is, you know, maybe someone can get her on. You're welcome. Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, I'm waiting for this thing to come up because I really want to save it. I don't want it to sort of disappear, and I want you all to come back. But yeah, you know, like before I go into the next song, obviously there's, you know, Upwards is quite close to my heart, and I know it was to Ty as well. But, you know, like Ty was, you know, he was one of those guys, he was just like, right, okay, cool, you know, we've done that. Let's move on, you know. And, Michelle Scoffrey, how are you, love? Yeah, so, yeah, and that was just how we worked, you know. He wasn't too phased by, you know, he loved the fact that people saved the things, man. Is Leroy here? I really hope he is. Yeah, and Eska, we need to get Eska on here. I did message her, but I really hope Eska is on here as well. Yeah, you know, there were so many people that were a part of that project as well, you know. Breeze, big up to you, bro. You know, great track, Look For Me. I'm not gonna play Look For Me because I kind of want Breeze to, you know, I'm sure we're gonna pass the torch to him at some point, and you know, he can talk about that. But okay, babes, you message Eska. Tally's my dear wife, by the way. Say hello to Tally. A lot of you guys know anyway. But yeah, this has got to. Yes, please do, Barry King. By the way, Barry King said he has 10 copies of Upwards, so go and see Barry King. I'm sure you can probably get Upwards on vinyl somewhere. But yeah, you know, we did, you know, off the back of doing Upwards, I'll play some more, obviously, but off the back of doing Upwards, I met Natalie Williams. She contacted me. I hope she's on here. And, you know, a lot of you know Natalie Williams. She's an amazing jazz soul singer, songwriter. And yeah, she approached me and asked me to work with her or do a track.